All right, we're here, I think. All right, here at Boeing Field, and I'm just getting everything dialed in, so be patient with me. Not much to see. There's not a whole lot of activity going on right now. But it's my extra cameraman is panning for me. Otherwise known as a cable is too tight and it keeps pulling the camera around. All right, well, that's good. At least it's working. This is going to be an interesting one today because I'm actually using a separate microphone, not the little lavalier microphones that I had last time. So I'm actually, I look like I'm on stage right now. I've got a microphone stand up in front of me, and I'm holding onto the mic and kind of angling it like Elvis used to do. It's kind of fun. Anyway, if you are, let's see, do we have anybody watching? No, we don't have anybody watching. We got a few pre-likes, so that's cool. All right, I'm going to continue to work on some of these other settings. All right, first thing, we need to get our audio up. Okay, so that is done now. Hey, Tim Arnold's here. Right on. Let's see if we got. And did I set up my little live stream things here? Let's see. Can I put Tim on screen? Yeah, there we go. Cool. Okay, so what's new today? Well, first of all, I'm not in Canada. I sound like I smoked about 20 packs of cigarettes because I developed some kind of flu or something after being in Canada for a few days. So, this is my Barry White late night DJ host voice. And yeah, I'm just set up here at Boeing Field. It is a gorgeous day. And yes, it was cold and crisp, like to the tune of 34 degrees this morning when I woke up, but it's not that way now. Obviously, it is a nice sunny day. And the reason why I decided to do today, even though I have to work a little bit later, is that because tomorrow is going to be back to typical Seattle weather in the wintertime. So we're here. I know the 777X took off earlier. I don't see that it came back, so that may make a return while I'm on the air here. Doing a few things with the test that I didn't do last time, and let's see. I'll just try and point this down the runway a little bit. See if we catch any oncoming air traffic. Just got to figure out what's tugging on my. Come on, stay put. Okay, so as you can tell, that is we're looking. That is not to the south. What is going on here, buddy boy? Let's see here. Where did it get its data from? Let's try that again. So you notice that I have I had a little compass set up in the bottom. I'm working on that. Okay, is that north? That can't be due north. No, that would be. No, I got to calibrate that somehow. Okay. So, point it back down the runway here. All right, let's see what else we got here. Okay, so yeah, I got this little magnetic compass overlay down at the bottom there. You can see, and that is actually attached to the camera. So as I pan the camera, You can see it's should be going with it. It's not moving. Oh, there it is. Okay. You can see it's moving with it. That's just mounted. It's just my iPhone mounted to the camera, and it works. So it's pretty cool. So at least we know what direction we're looking. Yeah, Tim, I saw that. That kind of snuck up on me. Yeah, I saw this with the you put on here about Moses Lake. Yeah, that's typically what they do. They'll go out there, they'll take off mid-morning or so, and then they'll head out over Moses Lake and do all the maneuvers and everything out there. And they've got an airport to go to if they have any kind of issues. Otherwise, they just make an afternoon of it, and then they're usually back here by about 2, sometimes 3. It really just depends on what they're doing for any given day. But the cool part about that is that you get to see them at least twice a day. And the way the airport is set up currently, there may be another one that, or the way that the flight schedule is set up currently, this airport is, sometimes they'll have another one that goes out in the afternoon and then does maneuvers and whatever they're doing later on in the day. So we're just, right now, I'm just going to play around with a bunch of different settings, and I'm curious as far as like audio levels like that. I don't think it needs to be at full blast. But let's see here. Yeah, so we've got that. Some other things that we've got that I've been playing around with here. For instance, we can look at the, where is that? Yeah, there we go. So these are our arrivals and departures that are coming up here. And let's see, we've got, well, looks like we got a 767 coming in here in about 10 minutes. That's cool. Here we go. Already lost him. So, definitely not the most ideal setup that I'm working with right now. I can already tell. Let me move some stuff around real quick. Talk amongst yourself. One of the things that's also a pain in the butt here is that we're on a sloped ramp, which is to be expected, but makes leveling the tripod a little bit of a challenge. There we go. That's a little better. Did I lose my signal here? What's going on? Oh, there we go. Yeah, so just trying to get to the to see the little monitor in the back of the camera's a little bit of a challenge, but we'll get through it. It's no big deal. All right. Goes from kind of noisy here right away and to not noisy. It is dead silent out of here. Of course, I have headphones on, but you hear is what I hear right now. So let me give you a little lay of the land while I'm kind of prepping everything. Wow. Yes. Jacket or hoodie not needed. I am baking right now. Okay. Let's see if I can move over here. We'll pan. There's our control tower. Believe it or not, for a big, well, it's not a huge airport. This is actually pretty small. But one of the interesting things about the way that this airport's laid out is basically 2 runways. So the only way to get across the other side of the field, which is on the east, I'm on the west side right now, is to literally drive around the airport. There's no way just cutting directly across. So you've got a fairly large runway that occupies the pretty much the distance of the field, and a shorter runway that they use for the general aviation. A lot of the flight schools that are here at the field, they use the shorter runway. That's the one I use when I'm flying the 182 or the 206. I got a guy coming in right now. I'm just going to leave it pointed down the field for the moment. Yeah, look at that compass. It actually it works, but I just noticed some interesting behavior with it, and I'm not really sure. It worked fine at the house, so I'm not sure if it's be an outside thing. The fact that I'm using the iPhone to stream. I am using my iPhone 14 Pro right now to stream 1080 60 by AT&T, and so far it's working. We shall see. Let's see if we can catch this guy. So most of the executive jet activity at Boeing Field actually happens on the other side of the field. So a lot of these private business jets that come in, they'll go to the other side of the field. There is, to my immediate right on the south side, south of me, there's a hangar where they have a couple of corporate Gulfstreams that will taxi right by here. And if you've looked at some of my content already that I've posted on the YouTube page, you'll see them taxi right by. I've got a few of those, especially at nighttime. They look super cool. Let's see what else here. Yeah, we got the UPS jets just off in the distance there. There's still an MD-11. As a matter of fact, I did put that on the YouTube page as well. There is an MD-11 parked back over there. It's all covered up. Not really sure how they're going to handle all that. I'd be really curious to see if anybody's heard anything about how are they going to get a special ferry permit or something like that to take these things out to the desert, or are they going to sell them to FedEx and it becomes FedEx's liability? Because it sounds like they're going to still use them. I have no idea. But anyway, there is one there. It hasn't moved since the night of the crash. So it's been parked there quite a while throughout the winter. Supposed to have a 767 coming in here, but I don't see anything. Let's check our board again. Yep, I see it, Tim. Excuse me. Yeah, he's literally flying right over me right now. See if I can switch over here. Thought I put the, let's see, what's going on. Oh, that has to be part of it. Sorry about that. That was the other camera just coming on. let's see. Do this. Will it let me switch? No, I'm here. Okay. Let's see if we can. All right. Of course, my camera's not working for me. Let's see. Yes. I'm still here. I'm just messing with some cables. Told you this was going to be a test stream. Okay, well, my other camera, for some reason, does not want to talk to the rest of the system, so I might have to just bail on that one for today. Okay, well, that's the other view, but that's not what I want. So a few things about the setup that I got running here, because it's quite a bit, and one of the things I'm trying to do, and I know that, for instance, is something that Pip has done because he's a pro and he's been at this for quite a long time, and that is consolidating and figuring out what do you actually need to do a stream, what kind of things make the stream more exciting, more engaging, but don't carry a lot of extra friction with them. Those are the key challenges, and sometimes it's not as hard or it's not as easy as it looks, but it is definitely. You could bring your entire studio with you, but then you're lugging a bunch of equipment, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense if you're traveling all over the place. But at the same time, if you are, if you find yourself, wanting to do a few extra things, the best way to do it is just kind of roll it out and, what they call in the software industry beta, kind of figure things out, streamline it, try and improve, and get it down to the lowest common denominator so you're not carrying around a bunch of crap anymore. Oh, what a lovely color. So I'm curious, on your end, I haven't looked at the stream on my end, but how's it looking on your end as far as frame rate, colors, brightness? I know that this particular lens tends to be a little bit on the slow side when it comes to autofocus, which is kind of a drag, but yeah. Yeah, Tim, thanks for that. That's probably that 767 that I saw on the board coming up. Okay, here we go. Have a little visitor here. Come right past us. The Atlas, by the way, Tim, has not turned on his landing lights, so my old eyes can't see it yet. I don't know why he's slowing down. Oh, he's pulling in. I don't know if he knows where he's going, but probably not familiar with the airport. Yeah, I do have a filter on Pip. I've got an ND filter on here. I'm exposed correctly. I can go. A little bit brighter. See if that helps a little bit. I think I might see that 7.6. It's on approach. That's a little washed out to me. You know what though? I think that's my. I know what that is. I know what's causing that. Let's see if I can fix that. Let's see. Okay, that was part of the problem. Tell me, this is like you could be doing like an eye chart thing. I wonder if this is going to make any difference. Oh yeah, it does. That looks muted. That looks like the colors have popped a bit. That is a blue livery there. That is definitely blue. And that's what it looks like in real life, so I guess we're close. So again, this kind of goes back to what I was talking about before, in that we have a there's a 7.6. I see him. We have basically we got a high-end camera that I'm recording on 4K, but then I'm also broadcasting in 1080p. So to do 1080p, I have to send it out with a certain type of color profile, and I'm recording it locally to the camera. It's very the techno jargon, but to record it locally to the camera, I record it in a flat color profile so I can colorize it later. Okay, let's get in on that 7.6. It's coming in. Yep. There we go. Didn't use a whole lot of thrust reversers on that one. Wow, he's turning off at an intersection. That's crazy. Normally Atlas goes to the end. He must be light. Hey, you know what? One of the things I'm forgetting here. Oh, I'm not forgetting. I remembered it. I just didn't put it on as the air traffic control. I wonder if I can actually get audio. Let's see. Let's make this compass go away for a second. And let's go to live. There we go. Live ATC. BFI. Go. Okay. Is it online? Yes, it is online. Let's see if this actually goes. I don't hear anything yet. It's on, but oh, it'd be coming from HDMI 3. That's why. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, it definitely looks like the colors are popping better, so that's good. Trying to get the right contrast and everything, especially when you're when you're trying to look at your computer monitor in daylight. Yeah, I kept preaching to Pip that I was like, you need to get a hood for your screen. And
Tower Jet 32, Boeing Tower 11507, runway 14 right, clear to land.
Okay, that is working. Let's put our compass back on. Got another guy coming in here. I'm not spending a whole lot of time looking at the board. I'm just trying to see from a technical standpoint everything's looking okay. But so when I say we got another guy coming in, I know that's not correct nomenclature, but a little 737.
Boeing 940, turn right, Bravo 5, join the Bravo taxiway, kind of ground point 9er. Bravo 5 will contact Boeing 940.
Ah, hello, United.
So 7874 Golf 1140 at 5, Ashland departure approved, runway 14 right at Bravo 1, clear takeoff. Look up for 1976 Bravo, traffic departing runway 14 right, it's going to be in a right downwind departure, Cessna. I'll be looking for the traffic, 76 Bravo.
Interesting. Oh, we got the Alaska 787 going right above us right now. Let's see if I can get to it.
508, Boeing Tower, wind 1304, runway 14 right, clear to land.
To land, and we'll need the high speed for Boeing 508.
508, unable to high speed.
I'll be unable for Boeing 508.
That's 4 Golf. Traffic ahead into your right, 2 miles inbound. So the Bravo taxiway is a helicopter, 500 feet, 600 feet looking for you.
We'll look out for traffic. I'm planning to turn into that downwind 500. I can elevate that to 700, 7 Golf.
All right.
You can make
That
your
was
turn
cool.
now.
Seen it on the ground, seen it take off, seen it land.
1976 Bravo, traffic
Can't
in
say I
the
ever
outbound
saw it
making their
on approach
right-hand turn, correction
till
there,
today.
Turn into the downwind.
Traffic is 977.
So 787 4 Golf, traffic does have any insight.
I appreciate all the wonderful comments here. Let's hope so. Somebody's got to pay for all this equipment. I'm just bummed out that my secondary camera, the one that's on me, is not working. I think that's a camera-related issue. Camera's up and running. Not camera, cable and or camera.
Hold short, runway 14 right at Bravo 1. 776 Bravo, traffic 1 mile, final for runway 14 right is a Gulfstream, or Galaxy. Spot 8 clear to land, wind 1606.
Traffic in sight clear to spot 8 clear to land. Helicopter 76 Bravo.
Yep, I think the other camera's just, that's just a cable. Oh well, it's no big deal. You can see this guy across the way here, he just started up. Hello. Oh boy. This is the see, Pip, I'm telling you, we got to get you, we got to get that little feature hooked up in our Roadcaster so you can actually verbally in real time abuse me and roast me instead of this typing in it.
252, turn left, Alpha 7, counter ground point in. Traffic in a right base for the Bravo taxiway is a helicopter.
One of the things that
600 feet indicated, type unknown.
I just set up, and I would love for people to test. This is not, excuse me, it's not a solicitation, but I did set up a PayPal donation link. It's in the description of the video. If you could just click on it and see if it takes you to a spot where you can, send money to the channel. You do not need to send money. I'm not asking you to send money. I just want to make sure that the link is working for people, especially people once you catch this later on. And if you're outside the United States, I just need to make sure that these links work for international viewers as well. That would be super cool.
Previous call traffic is now over Vashon Island, so south, downward bound.
We have a guy on approach.
Continuing to look out for traffic. I should be over the by now.
One of the things that I really enjoy about this airport in particular is there's just such a wild mix of different aircraft, especially when you think about the proximity to 3 other airports. I mean, within a 20-mile radius. Big airports, not little ones, big ones. This is kind of crazy when you think about it. It's like this airport has a good mixture of everything. It's got the freight traffic, it's got the business traffic, it's got the Boeing test traffic, it's got the delivery traffic for Boeing. Of course, all the private pilots who can afford to have their airplane hangared here, they keep their planes here. So you just see a lot of just a great mix of different aircraft here. All right, one guy coming in. There he is.
And Alex, we're also support here.
Oh, okay, this guy's doing a high speed. They did this a lot here. I used to think it was really cool, and now I'm almost expecting it. But if you've never seen it before, it's really cool. They'll land, and they just slam on the brakes. He's not taking off. See?
Hey, can we get a top load 100 load?
Bet you never seen Jeju Air before, huh? You U.S. Audience, you. Little squeaking. Little squeaking. I gotta say, this little shotgun mic got some range on it.
Station 174 Alpha, Boeing Tower 1170 at 5, runway 14 right, clear to land.
Clear to land, runway 14 Alpha.
297 Pop Lima, wind 1705, runway 14 right at Bravo 1, clear for takeoff, say directional flight. Pop Lima, get departure is approved.
All right, I'm not looking at the screen at the moment, so you just have to bear with me. I'm just kind of getting my things going over here by the camera. So my camera and laptop are actually probably about 3 feet, 4 feet apart from each other. That is orange. There we go. Of course, off in the distance, that is the Seattle skyline, downtown Seattle skyline. So we've got, I'll turn that recording off. Let's take a look at the board here. How's that for up close and personal? I'm probably about 30 paces from that plane right now, just to give you a sense of how close I am. And there's literally nothing, stopping me except the propeller spinning at 1,200 RPM from getting any closer to it. Thanks for checking the link, everybody. Appreciate it. Pip, if you did that, I'm going to kick in an ads. So any old time, I saw your message there, and I don't know if this dude sits at be sitting at Renton these days, or if the plane looks finished to me, so they may be just doing some test flights that it's already been parked at the delivery center here at Boeing Field, and they're just waiting. They're either waiting for the Jeju airline guys to come and pick up the plane, or they're testing it together, or they're running it through the final test before they deliver it to the customer. Not really sure, but I don't think. I mean, that seems like an incredibly huge waste of resources. But then again, what do I know? I'm just an aviation enthusiast. Okay, Pip, I did see it. Thank you very much. I misread that amount. I didn't see the decimal. I was like, don't go complaining to me like you do and then send over that kind of coin. Sure, I'm gonna feel that. What's that for? Okay, I don't know what he's doing, but okay. So today, I had everything packed. Everything packed in my car. And I've been really good about grabbing everything I need. And just because I was in a hurry to get out the door, I totally left my battery behind. So that will, the battery that is attached to my Roadcaster video is going to be the extent of the show today. Because I do have power here, but my Roadcaster video plug I left at the house, so I'm powering it off of USB right now. I do not believe my MacBook Pro can supply enough juice. But to be fair, we've been online now for 45 minutes and it's only dropped 10%. So I think we're okay. See that poor airplane over there? And I almost feel like any airport should have hangars. Any airport in the Northwest should have hangars. All right, Pip. See you. Seems this guy might be having problems with his engine. He's idling rough or something. We need to figure out what.
Kona 301 is inbound with information officer.
Kona 301 Boeing Tower, roger. Are you coming in to land?
Affirmative.
We need to figure out who that airplane belongs to.
301, roger. I need you out of below 1,900 for the class Bravo. It says you're at 3,900 right now.
They just sent us over to you. I'm not sure why they just said go direct Boeing and switch frequency, so.
Connor 301, Roger, Boeing altimeter 3011.
011. Copy that.
Connor 301, run. You can enter the left downwind for runway 14 left.
Downwind 14 left, 10-0.
Fine, 1 off uniform, black tower, hold short of runway 14 right.
Okay, I can't see that registration number, but I'm just kind of curious because I mean, it's an aircraft, right? But oh, there we go. We got a Cirrus coming out. This buddy. Hey, where is he? There he is. And you can see. All right. So clearly, I am on the general aviation side mostly. So we got a Cirrus SR-22 here, and then we got a 172 that I'm flanked by. Of course, you can see Mount Rainier off in the distance there. That's a nice view. Oh, here we go. Probably should have caught this, huh? There it is. 777X. And he is, oh man, he stopped short too. Oh well. Winglets are up. 11-foot winglets on this bad boy.
We're still in the descent for Connor 301.
So now I understand why they were holding these two GA planes. Yeah, they're giving him a wide berth, which is good. I mean, it's hard to really tell scale here, guys. I mean, I'm looking at this thing both through the little monitor and through my own eyes, and it's just, the thing is massive. I mean, the winglets are hanging over the next taxiway over. That's how big this wingspan is on this thing. It's insane.
You can continue in the downwind now.
Well, you'll see it when, future shows when we have it. That thing is just, it's so big. It's just so stinking big. And it's quiet, which is crazy. But the GE9X, the high bypass turbofan, just crazy. But fun story, while these little guys are taxiing out, giving the 777X plenty of space. When I was actually right after I got my pilot's license, and this was probably, I don't know, early 90s. Yes, I'm old. And I've had my license for, 30 years now. So, more than 30, actually. My flight instructor and I decided to, actually, we decided to actually, we had to do a ferry flight from the local airport in New Orleans, where I grew up, to the international airport in New Orleans. And so I flew him over. He picked up the plane. He picked up the other plane, and then I started taxiing back, or taxiing to the runway to take off and go back to the airport. And they put me behind an L-1011. Now, that, of course, these were when they were still flying. And so he's like, if you want, just go ahead and get back to the airport, and I'll meet you back. And I took my time. I was a little unsure of myself. First time I'd ever flown as a pilot into New Orleans International. Anyway, taxiing behind an L-1011 when you're in a Cessna 152, and you don't quite understand how far back those engines blow that hot air. my flight instructor, he was laughing and he was also screaming at me at the same time because I clearly did not give that guy a wide enough berth. The plane was buffeting so wildly, it was crazy. I had basically given him about, I would say, a quarter mile distance for that 152 to not feel it. So it was scary. It was scary because the plane could have, if I had gotten any closer, the plane could have lifted off the ground. That's how much thrust was coming out of the back of that L-1011.
301, turn right up 5, cross runway 14 right, kind of ground point 9er.
All right, so we got some general aviation traffic coming soon.
Modern aviation, how do you hear?
Loud, kind of clear, modern aviation.
I'm going to try and balance out this camera real quick. Bear with me. I'm just going to go silent for a couple of minutes as I get this all balanced
You
out.
guys hear me? It's November 744, Papa Zulu. I was wondering if I'll be there in about 30 minutes. I was wondering if you guys can grab my car from the lot and bring it out the little Ford Edge.
Copy that, 744 Papa Zulu. We'll see you in 30 with the car.
Thanks, guys. Or not our altimeter, but our transponder is acting up right now, so are you showing anything with?
Coast Guard 12 Bravo, right now, I'm not showing your altitude, verify altitude.
Bravo is 17, descending 1,500.
Guard 12 Bravo, roger, just report when you're at 1,500.
Roger, 12 Bravo. And if I'm here, I'd like to request long landing
All right.
ground 8 if available.
That should be a little bit better.
Yeah, Bravo, Sierra, roger. Long landing is approved.
Thank you. Sierra.
So the liveatc.net channel that we're tuned into right now also has the FBO's
Over 3112 Bravo, roger. Traffic
frequencies
over
on here
Point,
too.
Northwestbound, 1,500 feet indicated.
So oftentimes, and this is actually kind of fun because you don't hear this a lot on other, not channels per se, but I guess so, is that this one actually, because you can hear the FBO activity, you can hear like when certain planes are coming in and when they need a car. I got VIPs with golf bags, blah, 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 blah. And it's kind of funny to listen to these conversations. The lives that some of these people lead and the demands that they put on the FBOs are pretty interesting. But if you have the money, I guess you can get what you want.
Ocean 549er, Charlie Foxtrot, Boeing Tower, hold short of runway 14 right. King Air 8, Bravo Sierra, turn left Alpha 8, kind of ground point 9er.
There you go.
068 Delta X-ray, Boeing Tower, are you able to make it to runway 14 from Bravo 1? 068 Delta X-ray, wind 1305, runway 14 right at Bravo 1, clear takeoff, Bellevue departure is approved.
One of these days, I think at some point, I want to, because this is our home base. Boeing Field is our home base, right? And so one of the things that I want to do, I hope it's useful, I'm not really sure, and I would only do this for Boeing Field because honestly, if I'm going all over the place like a lot of the other plane spotters do, I just simply don't have the time to do all this stuff. But you know, airport diagrams, layout of the airport, key points about the airport, so that when you're watching the stream, you can look out for them. There goes our Cirrus. and other things.
3112 Bravo, traffic
For
over
instance,
Blake
you'll
Island,
hear
now
things
1
like
mile west,
you're-
Runway ferry dock, Princess, no,
you'll hear
1,800
air traffic control say something like Bellevue departure or Alki departure or whatever. You'll hear those things. It's like, well, what does that mean? And they're not increment departures or approaches for the VFR traffic. It's always going to be visual approaches, and there's a flow. And because this airport sits underneath the Seattle Class Bravo airspace, everything is pretty tightly controlled as far as in and out of the airport. You basically have to scooch as far away from the Class Bravo as quickly as possible, unless you're IFR. And yeah, so there's a little bit of a challenge there with flying in and out of here. And I know a lot of people get hung up on dealing with air traffic control and stuff like that. That's never been an issue with me, but I can certainly understand the anxiety associated with that. But the reality is that, you know, these people, this is their job to help you to get to and from the airport safely. And so as long as you understand. Hello.
Alki departure is approved. There is traffic orbiting over Alki at 1,500.
See, you just heard him say Alki departure. Alki refers to a beach and a point in West Seattle. There's actually an area. If you look at the map of Seattle, you'll see downtown Seattle, and then if you go a little bit southwest of downtown Seattle, you'll see an area called West Seattle, and it's actually it's kind of a secluded place. But when we're coming in and out of Boeing Field from the west, we're going to be using usually it's something Alki departure, Alki, you know, just, yeah, like he's saying right there.
Airline 7 Boeing Tower. Oakdale arrival approved. Traffic off the right-hand side, 2.5 miles westbound, 1,400 feet indicated. Taxiline none.
Lots of general aviation stuff happening now.
Boeing Tower, Skyhawk 29er sub Papa Lima over Kent, information officer full stop.
That's 207 Papa Lima Boeing Tower. Traffic 11 o'clock, 1.5 miles inbound towards the field. Helicopter 700 feet indicated. Flight the Kent arrival for runway 14 left.
Kent arrival, runway 14 left, looking for traffic, 29er sub Papa Lima.
So Kent arrival 14 left. So Kent is actually south of Boeing Field. It's a town south of Boeing Field. So the Kent arrival is basically going to put you over downtown Kent on the way in. It's actually a little bit east of downtown Kent, but it puts you out of the way of arrival traffic and departing traffic in and out of SeaTac. It also keeps you out of the pattern at Renton Municipal, which is, I mean, if you were to, seriously, you know, we were looking over here earlier. Jay does. See the tree line here? Right over the other side of the tree line is, I'm going to say right over, I mean like 4 or 5 miles over, is Renton Municipal. So it gives you an idea of the proximity. And the fact that I was able to film that Alaska 787 earlier coming into SeaTac shows you how close we are. I mean, you can look at a map, you'll see very, very clearly how close this airport is to others.
We're going up to the northeast ramp.
But it is a, you know, it's interesting. You just get a fair amount of people coming in from the south and the north, and they come in from all directions, and it all works. It just works. I mean, basically, you do not get close to SeaTac, or they call it Seattle,
3417 up kilo
or
bar
C.
tower, short of runway 14 right. 7 up kilo, change to 120.6. Modern aviation 417 November Lima.
So you can see. Let's see if we get over here. So there's a tower. They do tower tours. Now, I have not been, and I'm trying to get in there, but every time I try and call the tower, I just get in this infinite loop of...
Unfortunately, the fueling
the way that the tower has been working, the infinite loop is I try and go through a series of voicemails, and then eventually I don't get anywhere. And I've been able to reach it. I think I just need to go pound on the door. No, maybe not pound on the door. That might cause a little bit of a commotion. Here we go. Got a little guy coming in. So one of the things that I intend on doing, and I just don't, I got to figure out how I'm going to set that up, is the way that I'm going to have like flight radar on here as well.
Calling at Alpha 1, number 2 on line. Takeoff sign again. All I got was Niner Mike Charlie.
Not really sure I'm going to do that.
So 2 Niner 1 Mike Charlie. Taxi up to hold short runway 14 right. You're going to be behind the Cirrus. Say direction of flight.
Yes. Let's see if we got anything else on the...
More 2039, Boeing Tower 1130 at 5, runway 14 right, clear to land.
Alright, clear to land, more 2039.
So 7 Pop Lima, traffic on a 10 mile final for the parallel runway is a Caravan, runway 14 left, clear to land.
Clear to land, runway 14 left, 297 Papa Lima.
It looks like we have another 777X arriving in about 45 minutes. We shall see. Thing about flight radar, and so now this is the part that this is AirNav data, right?
Landing at the northeast,
so
be a pilot's own risk. Just don't overfly
and
the aircraft of Beam Alpha 1. There's going to be a Cirrus, a Cessna, and a Challenger.
There's a the flight radar puts a. It goes off of the published schedule, right? And sometimes, especially here at Boeing Field, especially with the Boeing test aircraft, you will not necessarily be able to, you won't be able to predict when they're going to show up. If they have issues, or they return early, or if they're on schedule, or they're going to return late. I have no idea. Here's a guy. Okay, he's just staying. He's staying east of the field.
2839 traffic, midfield, left downwind helicopters going to be landing at the approach end ramp area. Additional traffic in trail of them, 1,100 feet indicated for the parallel runway is a Cessna.
So we'll see if the 777X does arrive, or if it ends up getting closer and closer. I will stick around for that. I will, because I would love to be able to catch it in earnest instead of like as an afterthought. I was thinking to myself today, actually, it's like, what? There's so many flights with this plane now. The plane is it's old. I think the current test fleet they have is at least 5 years old. Anyway, a lot of people take it for granted, and I still marvel every time I see that plane. Every time I see it, I still marvel at, like, when the new Alaska 787 came out. It's like it's a 787. We've seen these before. We've seen them for over a decade now.
Update the traffic now on a 4 mile.
But man, I tell you, there's just something about seeing those in person.
2839 traffic. The only traffic now is midfield.
Okay, a little bit about where I am on the field. I am what they would designate as midfield. I am clearly on, well, maybe not clearly to some of you, but if you're watching this post live, this is actually, where are we at the markers here? Yeah, we're at 6,000 feet down the runway here. So I'd say, yeah, we're definitely about midfield, but it feels a little bit more south than it does mid, but whatever that means. I think the tower where we're looking right now is probably going to be more of midfield than where I am. But anyway, we're designated midfield, and we are airside, meaning we are inside the fence line. I can't really discuss much about why that is possible, other than it does require credentials and being associated with certain organizations that let you in here. So nothing nefarious. Everything's above board. Don't worry about that. It's just more about me being able to have access to this. I do come to the field to do some work. It's not work for the airport. It's not work for the port. It is for a volunteer organization. But part of my access allows me to get into this part of the field. I can't go very far. I basically set up, I do my thing, and then I leave, and I have not done anything, or I don't do anything to interfere with airside operations. I am not on the movement side of the field, meaning there is no aircraft activity that is necessarily going, I have right of way where I am right now. But as soon as you cross those lines right there, then the game changes. And those lines are not far from where I'm standing. But the cool part is, that means that when the 777X goes right on this taxiway right here, it is the winglet is probably, well, it's probably 30 feet above my head, at least 20 feet above my head, and it is it's almost directly above me. That's how big these wings are.
7 Alpha Kilo, runway 14 right, clear for takeoff.
So you can hear, you probably heard two numbers, 14 right, or I guess two letters, 14 right and 14 left. It's a south flow today. There are two parallel runways at Boeing Field, and it is, let's see, let me think. When I first started here, flying here, before they did the adjustments, because airports routinely adjust their runway numbers based on magnetic drift. So the North Pole, for those of you who don't know, the North Pole is not actually on the North Pole where, latitude is, way up at the top point, and longitude, all that stuff is, it's not, it's usually, I think it's over Nova Scotia or somewhere up there. Anyway, that drifts. The magnetic pole drifts. And so as a result, runway numbers do change over the course of decades. And when I first got here in the early 2000s, they were runway 13 and 31. Now it's 1432. So same runways.
7 Alpha Kilo, contact shuttle departure.
It had changed direction, really. It's just that the magnetic pole has changed direction. So now the numbers don't correspond. So anyway, I hope that clarifies things. About as clear as mud. Sorry, I tried to catch that guy. He did I've never seen that. He did
heading westbound. By the Green Lake arrival for runway 14 left.
Oh, he immediately went into the Alki departure. So one of the things about where we are, we're kind of in a valley. To the north, where the camera's aimed right now, as you can see by the trusty compass down below, that is the valley here. You can see we got, it rises a little bit off to the distance here. There's the tree line over there. Here's all the hangars, and then you can see Seattle. So it all kind of comes down to here. Off of the end of the runway here is a lot of our port activity. You can probably see them above the cranes, right above that molded plane, the 172 that's off in the distance there. That goes right to Elliott Bay, which is then and empties out into Puget Sound, which eventually finds its way to the Pacific Ocean. So that's one side, and then the other side, all the way over here. Oh, that's too far down. There you go. The valley. You see how the valley kind of comes down here, comes down here. This right here, this is actually a valley that extends all the way down to Mount Rainier. Now, I don't have an exact distance between us and Mount Rainier. It doesn't look very far. I know that if I wanted to get somewhere to some point on the mountain that, you know, it's somewhere up there, it's probably from here 3 hours. Because you're not doing a straight beeline to go up the mountain. You got to drive all these different roads and things like that. A lot of people get fooled when they come to visit. Like, let's go to Mount Rainier for the day. Yeah. All right, leave at 6. You'll probably be home by 10. It's kind of the way it works. And the entire the Cascade Mountain Range and then the Olympic Mountain Range off to the west, they're all the same. All right, let's see what we got going on here. I'm just going to keep it focused on the UPS planes because that's what we got.
Tower 417 Lima on the visual approach.
So it looks like we've got here.
417 November Lima, Boeing Tower continues, take landing clearance on a 3-mile final traffic.
Well, the 777 is still, we're 30 minutes out, so that's good. 2:30. 2:30 local.
Watch for the traffic. 417 November Lima.
And
One north of Pier 91 inbound the ILS descending at 2000 regional jet.
let's see, we got anything taken off anytime soon? No. Got some PC. I got a lot of Pilatus here. So there's an airport. There's an airline here called Seaport Air, and it is specifically a Seattle to Portland airline. It's a PC-12. They operate several a day. Matter of fact, it is the most that's the most active destination for Boeing Field. Is the Seaport. That's their schedule. So it's one of the things I plan to do at some point is get a fancy pants zoom lens, and I'll do that at some point. Maybe we'll make it some kind of, I don't know. We'll figure it out. But I want to get a decent zoom lens because way off in the distance there, matter of fact, a little bit to the left of, let me turn off this board here. You can see that red brick building to the left of the last UPS. That is the main terminal. I know you're probably going, what? That's what? So let me turn off that. We don't need the PayPal thing. Go away. Okay. So you see that red brick building. There's some really cool. I'll put some pictures up. There's some really cool Art Deco stuff inside there. It is definitely like a 50s style terminal. That also happens to be where CBP, Customs and Border Patrol, hangs out. This is technically an international airport. And now that I think about it, I did fly. Yep. One of the problems about being zoomed in too close is I can't catch up to these planes sometimes. Anyway, the Customs and Border Patrol people there, I flew to Victoria, which is Canada, one day. Took my in-laws up there, and came back same day, and I had to go through Customs and Border. It was very comical, the difference, and this is post 9/11. This is very comical, the difference between Canada and the U.S. And why I say it's comical is because when I went to Canada, you're not supposed to get out of the airplane. They give you a number to call. You call the number. You tell them that you've arrived. You tell them Soul's on board. You tell them how long you plan to stay. And this is stuff you've already given to them. This is nothing new. This is just stuff you've given to them. And then they give you a clearance number, and then that's it. You're done. You literally don't meet anybody at all. And so I thought that was funny, and then, we just did our thing, and then I was like, okay, well, I'll let U.S. Customs and Border Patrol know that we're leaving Victoria, and I'll give them a call when we land. So they had us park at that red brick building that I was just showing you, and when we landed, and after we parked, I would say a half dozen CBP agents came out, hands on their pistols, on their, service pistols, and they told us, do not exit the aircraft, do not leave. They had us. Of course, I had a younger, one of my kids when they were younger went with us, and so I had to do all this stuff to get him just out of the country for the day. It was a big mess. Anyway, long story short, getting back into the U.S. was far more not challenging. I think it was just far more intense, a lot more scrutiny. And I think it had to do with the fact that we just went there for a day and then came back, kind of like, I guess some people do that, and that's a little bit of a nefarious activity. I was just trying to keep my in-laws placated, but which I think is an honorable thing. But I felt like they were much more serious with it, when they had their hands on their pistols. And I'm looking around, and I look at my in-laws who were not from the United States, and they're looking at these guys with, full tactical gear on. Not maybe not full tactical. I mean, they're not wearing like night goggles or anything, but they had their bulletproof vests on and everything, and they look serious. To see the plane surrounded, this tiny little Cessna 182 surrounded by agents was an experience. Let's put it that way. All right, so we're an hour and 20 minutes into the stream, and we've seen a few things, and I'm quite happy with the performance. And I'm really surprised. Okay, so I know we don't have a ton of people watching, and that's fine. Yeah, we got a few peeps. Because a lot of this is testing, but one of the things that I was really worried about, I'm running off of my laptop right now, but I also am running it through my Rodecaster video for the audio and trying to get everything synced up, and that's how you see a little compass at the bottom, and I can switch different scenes. Oops, maybe not. Can I do that? Yeah, I can switch scenes like that, and put that on. And I had this configured earlier, but because the other camera's not working, it doesn't matter. But so that's my Rodecaster video. So this is like having a capture board / switcher / everything in one. Really nice to have. Allows me to have all my audio synced in at the same time. But then the laptop was one I was fearful about. And I'm looking at this, and it is sharp. It's fast. I'm not seeing a whole lot of latency here. I don't know if you're seeing it on your end, but if it's coming through and the frame rate is looking good and you don't see a lot of blur or pixelation, I'm actually quite happy with this. My phone is probably dying right now. Let's see what the battery's at. Oh, my battery says 1%. How is that even possible?
Yeah, 585, turn left at Alpha 7, contact ground point center.
Well, we may lose the feed this way more than anything else.
Boat Tower, Mountain Lion 45 on the ILS 14 right. Line 45, morning turn, runway 148, quick warning.
We shall see.
Now 118.2, morning turn, second.
But these are the little tests that I need to do. One of the things that I've been putting off, and mainly because it's not that I'm cheap, it's just I don't want to spend money on things I don't actually need, is the hotspot. And you know, having a dedicated hotspot is ideal in most cases, and I just haven't bought it yet because it's, you know, it's several $100. So we'll see how this works, because I didn't realize it was down to 1%. So if the ATC feed goes away and the little actually everything's gonna die because my internet's going through here too. Where we go?
38, Bravo Sierra, runway 148, cleared for takeoff, wind 14014.
Okay, he's gone. That's the thing. I gotta slow down this this autofocus thing so that doesn't shift so quickly. All right. Man, we gotta keep it going. Somehow this thing has got to power my phone that is at 1% for the next 20 minutes. Don't know how that's going to happen. So either my phone is lying to me as far as how much battery it has, which is possible. It's an older battery. Or it is not at 1%.